The US dollar is breaking down today, including the dollar versus the Swiss franc. So I'll have all the details in today's video. We'll talk key levels, where this market could be headed, also a trade that I just put on this morning, and also the latest on the DXY as it breaks below 97.70. And as a bonus, we'll talk about the Euro USD since it does essentially move inversely to the dollar versus the Swiss franc, and of course, also the DXY. Now, if you want my help with your trading, including seeing real-time updates, seeing my trades live, also VIP-only videos 2 every single week, the full course, and also access to over 1,000 members, be sure to check out the link in the description of this video for 85% off lifetime access to VIP. And as I said recently too, guys, if for whatever reason you join, you don't love it, just shoot me an email within 7 days of buying, and I will refund every penny, no questions asked. So it's a risk-free way to get into Discord and see what it's all about. All right, guys, so looking at the dollar Swiss franc, we have the market breaking down today here from a ascending channel here in July. So from the July low, you can see that we had the market just kind of trending higher here, higher highs and higher lows ever since this low back here, which was that July low to start the month. Okay, so for the most part, this market has been, trending lower. Obviously, we know that for months and really even years. And we had this market, kind of putting in this consolidation here in the form of a ascending channel. Okay, now we talked about this in VIP. And again, this is really the benefit, guys, of being in that Discord group because you do get real-time updates from me. So this is a case that I want to, full disclosure, I do have a short on here that I just put on this morning at 79.73. Okay, so I announced this as I put the trade on. The market was trading right up here when I put the trade on, and my stop loss, is well above this high back here. So, a decently wide stop loss here, and I am targeting much lower for this market. Now, the biggest challenge for this trade and this idea, okay, is the fact that the DXY is, technically just hitting those imbalances that we've talked about below 97.70. So there is a chance that the US dollar could still recover here today following this breakdown. So that's something to be aware of if you are trading these major currency pairs. However, with that said, at the moment, we really aren't seeing much of a bounce even from the dollar Swiss franc yet. Same thing goes for the DXY, which we'll look at here in a moment. Now, if we zoom out, okay, this is really what intrigued me about this chart. And again, we talked about this in Discord yesterday. Okay, so on Monday, what I told members was that a break below this channel support here. And so we talked about this, 24 hours before I even put the trade on. And you can see that this is the channel from May. Okay, so we have several highs off of channel resistance back here. And we also have these lows back here. Okay, so back here in May, and also this recent one here, that July low. So you can see here that we have this descending channel. We have the market carving out this ascending channel, also potentially a bear flag. And of course, we have this horizontal level down there at the July low, and we've also got that area around 77.20, which could line up at the bottom of this channel. Now, the way that I get 77.20, a couple of ways here, okay, a couple of factors involved with this. And the first one being, if we look at the weekly time frame and go all the way out here, all the way back to 2011, you can see that this right here was a weekly support for this pair. Okay, so we had the market obviously break well below here. It recovered it and then became support here on this candle way back here in 2011. So this is going to be a key factor for this market. Furthermore, if we take a look at the 4-hour time frame, okay, and we look at this here, this drop, all right, right back here. So from this high down here to the low, if we treat this as a bear flag, this right here would be your flagpole. Okay, so that's the flagpole right there, approximately 340 pips or so. All right, now if we measure that lower from this high up here, okay, because remember with a bear flag like this or a potential bear flag, you don't measure from the breakdown point, you measure from the high over here. And if we measure lower, the same distance, we get an area right around 77.20, which of course is that weekly support. And again, could line up with the bottom of this channel, okay? So that's that, guys. Very clean chart. The market has been trending lower here. We have that May channel, trending lower. We also have the market moving within this ascending channel, consolidating here into a potential bear flag, and then of course breaking down today. All right, so I am short here. It's going well so far. I mean, the first really couple hours I put the trade on, the market started moving lower. And again, guys, this isn't after the fact stuff. I did mention this in the Discord group as I put the trade on right up here in this area. Okay, so this isn't hindsight stuff. Now looking at the DXY, okay, the market right now is breaking down. Now this is what we talked about here recently, and what I mentioned in recent videos. In fact, I told members too that the breakdown below this channel or this trend line right here could open up 97.70 and a sweep down there toward those imbalances. Now here's what is key for the DXY, and so far, guys, we aren't really seeing it. The thing that you have to keep in mind here is that if this was going to be a sweep of 97.70 and a quick recovery, the key word there is quick. You would want to see the market get down here, take out these imbalances from back here, okay, those single prints, and then recover back above 97.7 quickly. And right now we aren't seeing that. We're seeing the DXY just grind lower. So this is why I've told VIP members all morning long that my base case scenario now is no longer for a recovery of 97.70. Now that doesn't mean that it won't happen. It could still happen. The DXY, the dollar could still recover back above this area. So that's incredibly important to keep in mind, guys. There are no guarantees in this market. Just because I'm short the dollar versus the Swiss franc, and I'm saying that the DXY looks bearish, does not mean that it will continue, okay? It could still recover. However, right now, there really aren't any signs of the US dollar recovering back over 97.70 and turning bullish once again. Now, the first thing that people often talk about when I show the DXY talking about the Swiss franc is, well, the Swiss franc is a very small percentage of the DXY weighting. Why are you even bothering looking at the DXY? And here's the thing, guys. Yes, it is a very small percentage. However, if you look at the dollar versus the Swiss franc and compare it to the DXY, you can see that they are essentially the same chart, okay? For all intents and purposes, sure, you'll find little variations here and there, but they are the same exact chart, okay? So if you are trading the dollar versus the Swiss franc, then looking at the DXY can also absolutely help you, okay? Because they are very positively correlated, all right? So really, guys, for the DXY, if the market does close today below 97.70, that is going to start looking bearish. Now, again, there is still a slim chance that even if it closed today below, we could get a close back above, okay? But whenever I see stuff like this right here, if this down here that we talked about recently was going to hold up, the market should not really be closing high timeframes below 97.70, okay? Because the idea of getting a fake out like this down here and then getting another fake out over here, pretty slim, guys. Typically, when you get a fake out like this, if this were going to hold, again, you would want to see the market come down here, flush out this area, and then quickly recover back above. And because we're not seeing that, again, I did flip, a little bit more bearish on the US dollar this morning to the point that I did put on that short on the dollar versus the Swiss franc. Okay, so looking back here at the DXY, guys, one other thing I want to talk about here is I mentioned this, I alluded to this in Monday's video, but looking at this channel here from 2011, okay, even though we have seen the DXY reclaim this area on a weekly closing basis, I mentioned yesterday, and I hope you guys paid attention because I mentioned in that video that technically speaking, okay, yes, we had seen weekly closes above 97.70, but the important thing to keep in mind, and I said it at the beginning of this video, or yesterday's video, was that the monthly time frame is holding below that, guys. So technically speaking, the DXY is below 97.70 on a monthly closing basis. And that's why I said that the July close would be very telling in terms of what we got from the DXY, okay? So that's still very important. Even though, again, we had seen the weekly close above here, the monthly time frame, which trumps anything on the weekly, is technically holding below 97.70, all right? So that's it, guys. I mean, really, you look across the board. I mean, the DXY looks relatively weak. It's taken out those imbalances, but again, there is no sign of a recovery just yet. It doesn't mean it won't happen, but so far it is looking pretty bearish. Same thing here for the dollar versus the Swiss franc, okay? So potential continuation of that made channel. Alternatively, of course, we have to discuss the alternative if the DXY were to recover back above 97.70 and we get the dollar versus the Swiss franc closing back above levels like this up here. And really, I mean, ultimately this consolidation, guys. I mean, if we were to get this right here, the market reclaiming areas like this, then of course that would be bullish for this market. I mean, no sign of that just yet though. So just keep that in mind. And one last thing, guys, before we talk about the euro here, this area through here, if you're looking for a second chance opportunity, not financial advice, never financial advice, but these lows back through here, this is really what I would be eyeing. Okay. So really you've got these lows right back here and you have these lows through here. Okay. So when you talk about the highest volume point within this consolidation, really it comes in right through the middle of this. Okay. So there is a chance we could get the market coming back up here, testing this area through here. So that could potentially provide a second chance opportunity to get in. Again, never financial advice. You have to make your own decisions. All right. So lastly, guys, that bonus content in this video, let's talk about the Euro USD here, since it is essentially inversely correlated to the dollar Swiss franc and also, of course, the DXY. So this, guys, is the made channel that we've talked about. Now, the market broke down from this channel back here. However, notice what's happened so far, right? We've had these higher highs and higher lows. The market has just continued to turn higher, not backing down from this area. If you saw the weekly forecast, guys, one thing that I talked about there was that if the DXY was going to sweep 97.70, that could equal a sweep of this high back here and a full retest of 117.50 from the euro, which is exactly what we're getting here. However, again, you have to ask yourself, is this something you want to short? Personally, For me, it's not, right? We're seeing the market just kind of pressure this area, not back down from it. We're not seeing any kind of back down from this area. And right now, buyers are essentially absorbing everything here that sellers are throwing at it. So again, this could change, guys. This is open to change. And this is too why I just want to reiterate, guys, this is why Discord matters, because this stuff could change. And videos like this, guys, are static. The market is dynamic. Videos like this are static. Once I make them, this content is out there. And so if you want those real-time updates, be sure to join us in the VIP group. All right, guys. So if the euro does reclaim the bottom of this channel here, very clearly that would be bullish for the euro. Obviously, you've got this pivot through here as well around 117.50. So really, if the euro clears this area through here, guys, that could be bullish for the euro. Keep in mind that we do have a lot of PMI data coming out of Europe on Thursday. So that is going to affect things like the euro and, of course, the US dollar. All right, guys. So that's it for today's video. I hope it helped. Again, I am short the dollar versus the Swiss franc. Monitoring this closely with that DXY below 97.70. Be sure to join us in VIP if you want those real-time updates and also those VIP-only videos, which I will be putting out one today. So be sure to join us there. See the link in the description for 85% off lifetime access. Trade well out there, and I will talk to you again tomorrow.